You are definitely not difficult for wanting time to think and read before signing anything. Great example of this. I had a young mom, 23, in the hospital, and I was her advocate. And her and her husband were very young. She was 23 and he was 20. It was their first baby. They had never been in the hospital, never been sick. This is a quote unquote normal procedure. And the nurse came in, gave all this information about cream for the eyes, going underneath the lights, vaccines, et cetera. And I'm not here to talk one way or the other about how people do medicine life. This particular family, they did not want to vaccinate their baby within the first 24 hours of being born. They wanted to be able to nurse their baby and follow up with their pediatrician and talk about a regimen that they felt comfortable with. In this case, they wanted to do one vaccine at a time so that if there were any side effects or anything, they would have a better understanding of where they were coming from. So I wanted to advocate for her, but this nurse came in, said, you want to do this, and just talking. And the way the nurse was talking, she was talking as though if my client were to say no, that she was doing something wrong. She wanted to think about it, but she was scared, felt pressured, so she signed it. The nurse left. I talked to my client and her husband. I asked questions. I said, do you even understand what you signed? They did not. I explained everything to them, what they were signing. We asked for the nurse to come back in, and they chose to rescind some of the things that they signed. And immediately the nurse said, so you're refusing. And she started crying. I looked at the nurse and I said, could you please leave? I explained to the patient, my client, that she's not wrong and she's not refusing. She's declining at this time to then have a conversation with her pediatrician. So we got the nurse back in. I actually went out and talked to the nurse and said, hey, this is what's going on. We need to be a little nicer here. I understand, you understand how we feel about treating things, but we need to respect the family. So she came back in, was a little bit nicer, gave copies to the family of what they needed, and they were able to work through that. I don't know that they would have been able to do that without an advocate. And because she was so young and so introverted, I think she just would have done whatever they said. And so know that you can ask questions. You can say, give me copies. Let me review it. Let me read it. And then I'll sign it. And know that if you choose not to, you're not necessarily refusing, you're declining at this time.